Am I a Gen Z?
No, we're millennials.
Oh, how old do you
We're
have
st
to be a Gen Zer?
to be a Gen Zer, I think you have to be, well, in the year of 2024, you would need to be under the age of 27 or 26.
So
I
what are
think
you?
I'm a millennial. I'm 29.
Oh, since when? Seriously?
Well, no, my birthday has not come yet, but
Holy guacamole!
I'm about to be. Yeah.
What are we gonna do next year?
For 30?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my God, girl, you're old. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go, millennial. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Spoiler Alert. It's an HEA with Julie.
And Chrissy,
Hi.
hello, hello.
This week, we decided to change it up a little and do two books. So one book that we've read, and we're just going to tell you guys about it. I have no idea what Chrissy has planned for her book, but we can rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. Or do you just want to go first, or do you have an idea?
Oh no, we have to rock, paper, scissors now that you've made that suggestion. So let's go
Okay.
for it.
So
On
two out of three.
three.
You have to do two out of three.
Okay, sure.
Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I cut your paper.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, I break your scissors. Okay. So,
I go first then, because you
nope.
won.
I won, so I get to decide when I want to go. So
Okay.
I want to go first.
Okay, that's totally fine by me.
Okay. The book that I'm going to tell you about, I don't think you'd ever read it.
Mm-hmm.
The book that I want to tell you guys about is Take Me Apart. It's the Vitali brothers, the first book in the series, and it's by Brea Alepoú and Skyler Snow. I hope I'm saying Brea's name right. That's how it looks in my mind. So this is a mafia romance,
Oh
and
wow. You've been talking about mafia romances for a hot sec, and I'm like, no, thank you. So let's get into this then for real. Keep going.
I mean, there's some memes out there where it's like, do I want this kind of guy? And it's like, absolutely not. Do I like reading about this kind of guy? Let's do it.
Convince me. Let's go.
Well, first, there's some trigger warnings. Um, so, with the Take Me Apart series, there is death, there's some violence,
Hmm.
there's detailed torture, there is mentions of parental abuse and neglect and drug use. There's some knife play, and uh, it's a really good book. So, in the Vitali brothers, the first one, we have Enzo, who's the middle brother. He's 33 years old, and the other main character, Tex is a cop. Now, Tex really wants to become a detective like his dad was in the police force. So he has this brilliant idea. I'm going to figure out the Vitali brother mafia, guns, and all the stuff they're trafficking, out them,
Okay.
get all the
So,
notoriety, and move up in my career.
okay, he wants to be a hero.
Yeah, he wants to be a detective.
Yeah, but to be a detective, you have to have also have a hero complex.
A little, but you'll see at the end. Okay,
Okay.
so he has this idea and he's like, I'm gonna go to the club. And this part of the book reminds me of, did you ever watch Power on like Stars?
I did.
In that show, Power, there's the main character. I can't remember his name right now, but he like owns all these nightclubs. King, no, not King. Maybe King. Yeah, King owns all these nightclubs, and so do the Vitali brothers.
Okay.
So this cop goes in one night and he's like, I'm gonna start, staking out the place and figuring out if they're doing their crimes at their place of work. Of course they're not, but he sees this guy who is like dark hair, glasses, kind of like geeky looking, some facial hair, and he's like, oh man, that man's hot. That's one of the Vitali brothers, but he doesn't know I'm a cop. Watch me infiltrate. And of course, Enzo's like, cop right there. Okay. But he's like, why are you here? And he's like, I just came to have fun tonight and to see if I can find somebody to have fun with. And Enzo's like, okay, let's go play. And Tex gets into Enzo's car and they go to Enzo's hotel room in the city. So when he gets there, of course, he has like a code to get into the apartment, condo, hotel thing.
Yeah.
And Tex is like 5173, lock it in my brain so I can come back and investigate later. So that night they start to get intimate and Enzo's like, what's the code? And Tex is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he
Okay.
takes a knife and he holds it to his penis and he's like,
What's
I'm
the
going to
code?
cut it off. What's the code? And he's like, 5173. And they have
So
mind-blowing sex.
after he confirms the truth.
Yes. Because he's like, this is hot. Like, I kind of like this knife play. I didn't know it was a kink I had. And he's like, kink unlocked. Let's do it.
Okay.
So they hook up and Enzo leaves because now Tex has had like the biggest, best orgasm of his life and he's passed out. So he's like, give him a wake up call at 5:30, deliver breakfast at 5:45. I'm
Mhm.
out. So the next morning, Enzo wakes up and he's like, are you kidding me? And then he goes down to concierge and he's like, can you give me his phone number? And they're like, funny, absolutely not. But we can leave a message. And he's like, F you to Enzo. So now as we go forward, they start hooking up regularly and we learn. Hmm?
So he's just also like random aside. Cop guy is just what's his name?
Enzo, the hot guy.
Is Enzo the cop?
No, Texas, the cop like Texas.
Okay, so Tex is just doing his own little investigation. No one else knows.
Yes.
And now his fuck buddy is Mafia guy, Enzo.
Yes, but he's trying to investigate him still. He's like, yeah, I can have this really great sex with you, but I'm not going to have feelings because I'm trying to put you in jail
Okay.
so I can promote myself to detective.
That's gonna
So,
end well.
so he's torturing this cop, and we find out that there are all these dirty cops in the city who are helping them, achieve their level of greatness. So when Tex gets home, there's a note in the house from Enzo. And he's like, how did this man get in my house? And he says, okay, I need to put some cameras in my house because I need to make sure that he does not come back in here. If he does, I can catch him on camera.
Mhm.
And he says, well, if he can come into my house, I'm going to go into his. And he figures out through the help of his friend Chelsea where Enzo lives. And he gets into Enzo's
Stalker.
apartment. So he's in Enzo's apartment and he has like this, like spy things where you plug it into the computer and like it downloads the whole computer to the USB and now you can
Yeah.
take it home and have it. So he has it plugged in and he's like waiting, waiting, waiting. And of course, in walks Enzo and his brother, Giancarlo.
Who's
So
insane, I'm assuming.
Giancarlo's insane. If
Yep.
your name is Giancarlo, I'm sorry, you're insane. I mean, Enzo's insane too, but Giancarlo is, whoo, he's off the rocker. So Tex is like, holy guacamole, what do I do? The USB's in my hand. Let me put the USB in my shoe and, we'll figure it out. So
Yeah.
Giancarlo leaves and Enzo is like, smash, what are you doing in my place? And Tex is like, I missed you. And Enzo's like, okay, so I'm gonna have to kill you. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, 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 please don't kill me. Let's just, talk about this. And he starts to notice like some ticks with Enzo. And he's kind of like having a panic attack right now. And he
Mhm.
distracts him. And, they end up having sex again. And Enzo's like, you're mine. And Tex is like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm mine. I'm yours, whatever. Now, while he was in the house earlier, I forgot to mention, he finds these photos of this man. And the beginning of the photos, it's like, oh, Enzo and this man, Bryce, they're in love and everything is great. Oh no,
Who's Bryce?
Bryce is tied to a chair. Oh no, I think Bryce is dead in that photo. This is really bad. So Tex is like, I think Bryce was his lover that he killed.
Sounds
Enzo
like
is a psychopath.
it's time to leave. It's
But
time to run.
he gets caught, so he can't leave. And he's like, I'm just gonna keep investigating and take these Vitali brothers down. So we go back to Enzo. It like goes back and forth between the two guys. Each chapter, they take a turn telling the story. So what are you drinking?
Hibiscus sparkling water.
It looked like rum.
No, I am not drinking because I've had a headache all day. So I've taken Tylenol twice. So I'm not going to mix that with alcohol.
Yellow.
I could. Not going to.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to it. So now the Vitali brothers are meeting because somebody has stolen a whole shipment of guns. And they're like, who took our guns? Like, we're losing big money here. And we have a rat in here. We need to figure out who the rats are and get rid of them.
Clearly, it's the fuck buddy / cop.
So that's not true. No,
okay.
that's wrong. That's not it. So that night, Tex gets drunk out by himself and he's like on the floor in the dirty bathroom at the club. And Enzo goes in because he's been stalking him. Enzo's a stalker if you did not know. And he's waiting for him outside this club to make sure he gets home safely. And he goes in and he takes him to his house. And before he takes him to his own apartment, he says, what about your cat? Is somebody going to be able to feed him? Does he have food? And Tex is like, yeah, I got those automatic food things. He'll be fine for the night. So they go to Enzo's penthouse apartment thing. So that night, and they're in Tex's drunken stupor. He's like, wait, where are my clothes? Because Enzo's like showering him and getting him ready for bed because Enzo, in his psychopathy, is also a nurturer. He loves
to take care.
He does.
Okay, so he takes care of his hookup buddies, his / fuck buddies before he kills them.
So Tex is like, where'd my clothes go? And he's like, I threw them away. Tex is like, but that's why we have washers and dryers, we can just launder the clothing. And he's like, they were on the dirty bathroom floor. Absolutely not. Will those ever go on your body again? So Tex says, well, what do you do with the clothes after you kill people? And Enzo says, I burn them. And Tex is like, he admitted that he kills people. Oh my God. So the next morning, Enzo's like, quit your job.
No.
And Tex is like, no, I'm a cop. I've always wanted to be a cop. And he's like, fine, well, you're moving in. Let's go get your cat. Now, this part you would like, Chrissy. His cat's name is Penelope.
Cute.
After your favorite show.
What's my favorite show?
Criminal Minds.
Oh, wait. Penelope Garcia. Yes. Love that.
Well, he thought his cat was a girl. And then it turned out Penelope's a boy.
Of course.
But he's like, your name is Penelope.
Yeah, we don't believe in gender.
Nope.
Gender so when is a construct. Sorry.
Facts. It is. They go to get Penelope. And I really wanted to name Kitty Penelope. But she didn't change her name when I tried to change her name. I love her so much. Okay. So they go to get Penelope. And when they get back, Enzo has all these boxes from someplace delivered in front of the door. And Tex is like, what did you buy? And he's like, cat stuff. It's Penelope's dream. Cat scratchers, cat everything for the whole apartment. Because he's like, I've never had a cat before. Let's make sure that, he's happy here. So we then see that Tex, trying to still figure out how to make the case, goes to see his dad, the ex-retired cop. And we learn that his dad was super abusive towards him and his mom. And like when his dad would hit him, his mom would say, oh, you can watch TV for an extra hour tonight. Don't worry, stop crying. And he's like, my dad was crap, and he still is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have to just kind of do it. So he asked his dad to see the old case files for the Vitali brothers and like the family mafia because they go up. It's not just these young brothers in their 30s, it's
Of
the
course.
parents and everybody else. So he asked his dad to see, and his dad's like, no, you're going to end up like me with a bum leg because his dad did something with the mafia in his prime and now walks with a limp and has a cane. He asks his dad for the stuff, and his dad's like, no, you're a dumb kid, and starts cursing at him. So Tex curses back at him. And his dad said, don't curse at me, boy, and takes his cane and whops him in the face, blood gushing down his face.
Oh my God.
And Tex is like, I'm out of here. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you. And I'm gone. So he leaves,
Yikes.
and he's like, I need to go see Enzo. I need to see him.
That's fucking terrible.
It's really bad. So he goes to see Enzo, and Enzo's like, who did this to you?
Oh
And
my God.
yeah. So he's like, it's nothing, don't worry about it. Now, during this time, Enzo decides that he needs to leave. Nope, sorry, not Enzo. Tex decides he needs to leave Enzo because he's like, this will never work. He's the head
Yeah.
of a mafia group. I'm trying to become a detective. We're just like star-crossed lovers. We're not meant to be together.
Mm-hmm.
So he leaves and he's like, where can I go? I'll go to my partner's house, Mr. Roque.
Okay.
So he goes to Roque's house and he's hanging out with Roque because he's like, if I go home, Enzo's going to find me. If I go to my friend Chelsea's house, Enzo's going to find me. This is the only place maybe I can hang out where Enzo won't find me. He goes there with Penelope, and Penelope is like children and animals. They are like the best signifiers for like good people and bad people. Spoiler alert, Penelope meets this man and she
Mhm.
scratches him, draws blood, and is hissing at the officer, Mr. Roque, Officer Roque, who is Tex's partner.
Interesting.
So I'm like, oh, Roque, if Penelope does not like you, I don't either. So one night he walks in and he hears Roque on the phone, and he's like, I'm gonna effing kill you. It's not
Yikes.
time yet. What are you even doing? And then Tex knocks on the door, and he hangs up and he's like, how long have you been here? And he's like, oh, I just got here.
For
No,
sure. You weren't listening.
I heard nothing. And like Tex says, like you see his face change, and like he gets like this icy feeling running through his veins. And then he just turns off his face and he's like, oh, great, let's go to work now, Tex. Let's do it. So the brothers are investigating and they find a dirty cop named Chandler. And Chandler is getting the worst of Enzo's torturing because Enzo's just thinking about Tex and how he left him and he misses him and he loves him. He thinks he loves him. He misses him so much. So he's torturing him terribly. And he's like, who's working with you to steal our guns and our stuff? And he ends up cutting off his penis. And the man goes into shock, and they call Melanie. Melanie's like the doctor on standby. And she comes in and she's like, I hate working on corpses. Double my fee. And she gives him all this shot and does all this stuff. And he comes back to life for like 20 minutes.
And then
And
dies
she's like,
again.
yeah. And she's like, see ya, I'm going to work now. She owns like a clinic, for like low income families who can't afford healthcare.
Yeah.
So this is how she makes her money to run her clinic.
Mhm.
So she leaves, and then they're like, who's working with you? And they're like, Roque. And they're all like, wait, Roque? Because Benito is the older brother of Enzo, and he's like, if he says your boyfriend's name, you're gonna have to kill him like you killed the guy in the picture, Bryson. And we learned that Bryson was Enzo's lover, but Bryson was a drug addict, and he did a lot of drugs. And he would take all of Enzo's money that he would give him, and he would buy drugs. And he was going to overdose one day, and they like tried to like wean him off. But then Bryson started up a love affair with Benito, which is Enzo's older brother.
Mhm.
So this man is dating two brothers, and they don't know about him. Now, while he's doing this, he's like getting intel and he's giving it to the police, and he's an undercover agent sleeping with two of the Vitali brothers. And because of this, one of the brothers ends up going to jail, and Benito's like, now you got to die, Bryson. We could have helped you, but now you're dead. And he made Enzo kill him because he said, you fell in love too hard. And now that you fell in love and you put this man in front of your family, you got to learn your lesson. Family over everything. Giancarlo is like, well, I'm glad that it wasn't your boyfriend, but you know what they say. If you love something, you got to let it go. And Enzo's like, that's ridiculous. If you love something, lock it away so it never escapes. And Giancarlo's like, okay, crazy. That's not what we do with people that we love. And we kind of like move forward. So now there is a plan to bust the Vitali brothers at one of their warehouses. Okay. And Roque is there with Tex because Tex has totally separated himself from Enzo at this point. And Roque is like, okay, are you with me? No. If you need to pull your trigger, can you pull the trigger today? And Tex is like, why are we killing anybody? I mean, we can just arrest them and take them in, you know? And Roque is like, no, are you ready? And he's like, okay, let's go. If I need to, you know, defend myself, I can. But that's not my plan of going in there. We can do this peacefully. So all the cops are in the front of the warehouse, and Roque says, let's go around the back. Because if we go around the back, we can like get them all down. And when the cops get in, you know, we save the day. And Tex starts to get like an itchy feeling. And he's like, I don't like this talk about like fame and we're going to save the day and all the glory. But he's like, okay, fine, let's do it. So they go in and they're like, get on the floor, get on the floor. And Tex is watching his partner, Roque, just like taking people down, like, pew, 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 pew. And he's like, what's going on, sir? Why are we killing all these people? And Benito, the elder brother, is like, stop this. Put your guns down and let's just figure this out peacefully because your police friends can't get in for a long time. That door is reinforced. So let's just talk about
Take a breather.
So Detective or Officer Roque is like, no, you guys are scum and you're parasites and you're gonna die. And Enzo's standing there and he's like, oh, we're parasites? What about you stealing our shipments? And Tex is like, wait, what? My partner is stealing from you? What do you mean? And Roque is like, are you gonna believe them over me? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. So now Roque turns on him and he's like, you know what? You are just dumb. The way that they gave you the best assignments because of your father, F you. And he grabs Tex and puts the gun to his head now. So the three brothers are staring at them and he's now being held hostage.
Of course.
So he's like, oh my God, my partner has turned on me in this really scary situation. So Enzo puts his gun down and he's like, don't do this, just let him go. And Officer Roque shoots Enzo in the abdomen and Enzo goes down. And Tex sees red because he's like, I like this man. And he starts, like, he turns and he's like beating him up. And then Roque starts choking him. And then Giancarlo comes and knocks him over.
This is so violent.
It really gets, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but Benito and Giancarlo kill him in a really terrible way. So now Tex runs over to Enzo, who's on the floor bleeding. At this point, I was like, he was wearing a bulletproof vest.
He's fine.
He was not. I was just hopeful. So Enzo is like, it's fine, I'm fine. And he's like, shut up. You're like literally bleeding out right now. We gotta go. So Benito's like, you gotta go talk to your cop friends out front. And Tex is like, I'm not leaving him. I'm not leaving Enzo. I'm staying with him. Let's go. So Benito's like, you talking to me crazy. I had the Mafia here, but I'm gonna let it slide because my brother's, you know, in trouble. So they go to the penthouse and Melanie, the doctor, shows up again. And she's like, holy guacamole. Let's just sew you together and make it work.
Is it possible?
It's possible. So she patches them together, gives him meds and says, okay, you know, like, good luck. Call me if you need me. I'm going to work. So he nurses him back to health. And the police call after like 3 days and they're like, so can we talk about what happened? Because the story was the Vitale brothers are looking for him. That's what he's telling the police. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna hide and hang low so that they don't find me. Plus, I saw my partner die in a really gruesome way. So I don't want to come back right now. So now they're like, okay, Tex, you did some great work and we have some really good leads. We want you to take lead as detective.
Okay.
And Tex is like, this is everything I wanted. But now I realize that I love this man and I'm going to have to pick. So he's like, I'm bringing in my belt and gun tomorrow. I'm not going to be a cop anymore.
Oh, wow.
So, so he tells Enzo, and Enzo's like, I think this means we should go out on a date. And Tex is like, let's do it. So Enzo's never been on a date before in his life, ever.
Because
He's a very,
Mafia,
yeah,
the
he's,
Mafia doesn't date. They just hook up or
that's
have
it.
fuck buddies and then they commit murder and crimes.
When it's time for them to go. So on this date, they go to this restaurant and he's rented out the entire restaurant. And Tex is like, I've been fine with just Chili's. And then I was like, I need to go on Uber Eats and see if Chili's is there because I want some cheese fries because their cheese fries are amazing. And I
Oh
haven't
my
had them in like
God.
7 years. But
No, you tried to get their fries. We went to Chili's last year and you tried to get their cheese fries and they gave you just the cheese on the side when you were upset with your fry order.
really,
We were at
oh
Chili's.
man,
And I wanted to get dessert, but everyone was full. I wanted the Moten lava chocolate cake. And I have not been back to Chili since.
maybe
Yeah,
it's
a year
better
ago.
now.
I
Yeah,
doubt. I think Chili's is only gonna get worse. Like Olive Gardens, Fridays. It's a downhill spiral.
okay. I have to make my own cheese fries. That's fine.
There you go.
Okay, so they got to this date and in this sold out restaurant where they booked it all, the dumb waiter spills a bottle of wine on Tex. And Tex is like, it's okay, no big deal. I'm easygoing. And Enzo's
Sure.
like, mistakes happen. I'm gonna hold it together because you have dropped stuff on the person I love. And he like pulls it together because he's really like an OCD person where when he like kills somebody, he talks about like how there are thousands of ants crawling on his arms, or like he just has like little things that you're like, huh, you're very interesting, sir. So he goes to Tex's apartment because they're in the city and then he has clothes there because he still has an apartment. And he Tex goes inside to change and Enzo waits in the car. Now, while he's sitting there, Tex's phone rings. So Enzo answers it, but doesn't say hello. And it's Tex's dad saying, look at you, you dummy. You get the opportunity of a lifetime to become a detective and you just piss it down the drain. You are a drug addict and you are the
Wow.
worst. And like just really like talking terribly to him.
Yeah, it's
So
abusive.
Enzo's listening, Enzo's crazy. And Enzo sees this man drive up into the apartment complex and he's parked nearby. So Enzo hangs up and he walks over to the car and he's like, hi. And of course, the dad is like, I know who you are, Enzo Vitale. And he's like clicking his boots.
Oh,
And the
he's
wife is
terrified of him.
terrified. So the wife is like, oh, who's that? And he's like, nothing, just stay in the car. And he takes him around the corner and he's like, if I kill him, Tex is gonna be angry at me, so I can't kill him. But, and he takes his kid and he whacks him like as payback. And he's like, you get one matching your son because you did it, you get two. And he's like,
Yikes.
we're going to be a great family together, once, we tie the knot. And the dad is like, never will we ever. And he's like, or I can just tell everybody about how you were a dirty cop and how you lied and cheated your way to the top to becoming a detective. And then
Mhm.
he's like, oh my God, no, I would never. So Tex comes out and they've already driven away. So Enzo's like, I would kill for you, right? And Tex is like, I do know that, but please don't kill for me because I still think murder is bad. So let's not do that. So a month later, Tex officially moves in with Enzo. All his stuff is brought out from the apartment, and they, as they're packing up and moving in together, Benito and Giancarlo, the brothers, are talking to Tex, and Tex is like, um, I, I just need you guys to know. Do you realize that Enzo is autistic? And
Oh.
Giancarlo's like, we've known that forever, but that's just who he is. So we're fine. Doesn't mean anything. And Benito's like, the family does not like to talk about it.
Hmm.
We don't acknowledge it. We don't do anything, but it is what it is. And then I thought back in the book of like little things that somebody on the spectrum could potentially do. And
Mhm.
one of the things, his books, he's like an avid reader, and he orders his books from the ones that he enjoyed the most to the ones that he enjoyed the least. And he's
Yeah.
like, this is it. They had like lunch, not lunch, had popcorn watching a movie. And for the last movie, they watched three movies. Enzo was like staring at the popcorn that fell down. And when it's time for them to leave, Tex is like, do you want to vacuum the popcorn? And he's like, yes. And then like he rolls all the chairs for them. Like he's very like meticulous with everything.
Hmm.
And I mean, he fixates on everything like nobody's business. And
That makes
it's just,
sense. That's why
yeah,
he's such a good mafia person slash murderer.
absolutely. And
Not to say that neurodivergent people commit
no,
murder. So,
mm-mm.
but yeah.
But yeah, no. So that is Take Me Apart by Brea Alepoú and Skyler Snow. I highly recommend the series. The fourth book just came out. It is Never Say Never, featuring one of the brothers. And I
Benito?
believe they all know Benito is book three.
Yeah, okay.
Book two is about Giancarlo. Benito's book I love because they like plan to marry him off to another mafia girl, but she gets knocked up. So
Yeah.
they give him the brother who is like a twink. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, Chrissy, it is your turn. What did you read?
So the book that I wanted to talk about is a book that I referenced a little while ago by Talia Hibbert. Take a Hint, Dani Brown. I know you've read Talia Hibbert before, right?
I've read part of one of them, most of one of them, the one with the sister that has MS. And I don't remember which one it was, but all I remember is that there was a cat stuck in the tree. So she climbed the tree to get the cat. The cat jumped down and then she was
Oh
stuck.
my
And I
God.
was like, I love this. This would be me. But I didn't finish it. I have to find it. It's on my bookshelf somewhere. I think it got really cringy and I had to just like put it down because I wanted to die.
Yeah.
And I forgot to pick it back up.
Okay. I think you're reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown, because that's the oldest sister. And
Probably.
then I'm reading the second book in the trilogy. Well, the book that I'm going to talk about is the second book in the trilogy.
So we didn't read the first book.
You read part of the first book. Have not read the first book in the series, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I am going to go back and read the first book as I just finished the second book. But I may, because I like to read things out of order sometimes, I may read Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is the third book and about the youngest sister. So,
I have it if you want to borrow it.
oh, okay. I was about to order it. So that's perfect. I will just take that off your hands. Thank you. Take a Hit, Dani Brown is a great book. It is my type of book. It has a fake dating trope, and it's just absolutely, it's just also lovely. And it's also very English, as this book is set in England, but it's like black and brown English folk. So lots of slang, which feels like when I'm reading it, like talking to our cousins, like it's great.
It's like a whole different language sometimes.
It really is. And I'm there for the banter or the bants. I don't know if I'm doing that correctly, the way I shorten that.
Bah.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't you like to go into the garage to park my car in the garage?
You can't pronounce it the way they do.
Garage.
No, that's a type of music too.
I
It's
know, I
not.
remember.
This book will give you a bit of that. And our main of the book is Dani. She is a PhD student and she is on her like 20-year career trajectory and life plan when the book opens. Like she has her degree in progress. She knows what her dream job is, which is to become a professor. And all that she's really missing is like a fuck buddy. And she had one prior to the beginning of the book. But things went awry with her and her last partner, and they broke it off. So the book opens, and her best friend are at the altar to Ocean and asking for Ocean to send Dani a fuck buddy. And for those that are not like familiar with Ocean, it's a Yoruba like goddess or spirit. So she's calling upon Ocean, this deity within like West African religions to send her to send her her fuck buddy so that she can have everything that she needs accounted for in her life. And at the end of her like asking for Ocean to send her a fuck buddy, a protein bar falls out of her jacket right onto the feet of the altar. And Dani thinks nothing of it really, but we come to find out literally in the next chapter that this is a sign from Ocean, said
I
protein bar.
need I need a Yoruba deity statue
For
so
sure.
I can make my petitions because there are a lot of things I need right now.
Me too. I need another one of these ruby hibiscus sparkling waters.
Is that an ad?
No, not an ad. I got it at the grocery store and it's literally just carbonated water and hibiscus. Delish. And I just drained the can. Cool. So, as the book continues, Dani is heading into work for the day. And every day when she heads in to teach her class, she grabs a coffee for the security guard who's now become her friend, Zafir. And every morning they chat and they make each other laugh or poke fun at one another, one or poke phone or poke fun at one another.
You got it.
Thanks. But she just kind of looks at him as a friend and doesn't think that he's interested in her. And
Is he cute?
he's very cute. Like he is a former rugby player. She's not aware of that right
Oh, so
now.
he's hot.
Yeah, so like he's tall, he's muscular, and she says that he has this like phenomenal beard and really dark hair and like these smoldering eyes. And she is described as like kind of just like a bit witchy or like more like a well, she is definitely a woo girl, but like she like wears all black, she dyes her hair different colors, she keeps her hair cut real short. So together they like make this very striking pair in my mind as I envision them.
I want to be a witch.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Send me a link and I'll do it. Thank you.
Well, first off, you got to get into astrology. So I need you to download Chani.
I'm
It's
a
the
Virgo and I have Chani.
I love that app.
So am I a witch now? Because let's do
No,
it.
this is the beginning of your journey into spirituality. That's just the first step, understanding who you are and what that means in regards to your, you know what? We'll dig into
Nope.
this later. You look so disinterested.
I'm on to the next job, which is out.
Whatever.
I'll
Okay.
just dress like one.
Yeah, fair. You should totally do that. I love, I don't wear a lot of color. Come on. Like I'm on the Dani trajectory currently of just wearing all black and dyeing my hair different colors. But Zaf is just like her workplace friend, and they get to know one another like well enough to the degree that on this one particular day, there's a fire drill, and she's not outside when everyone exits the building. And he freaks out and goes to look for her immediately. And he finds her trapped in the elevator slash lift, and he literally pries open the door and pulls her out. And this is literally like the universe, like showing her that this is her guy, this is her fuck buddy. But it takes a bit longer for us to get there. So he carries her out of the building, and while he's carrying her out of the building, all of the students, as I would imagine Gen Zers would do, are videotaping Zaf, the security guard, and
Am
Danny,
I
the
a Gen Z?
no, you're we're millennials.
Oh, how old do you
We're
have to
st
be a Gen Zer?
to be a Gen Zer, I think you have to be, well, in the year of 2024, you would need to be under the age of 27 or 26.
So
I
what are
think
you?
I'm a millennial. I'm
Oh,
29.
oh, since when? Seriously?
Well, no, my birthday has not come yet, but
Holy guacamole!
I'm about to be. Yeah.
What are we gonna do next year?
For 30?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my God, girl, you're old. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go millennial. So what are these Gen Zers doing?
The Gen Zers are recording Danny and Zaf exit the building and posting it to their Twitters, to their Instagrams, to their TikToks, because this like burly, beefy, muscular security guard is literally her rescuer slash Prince Charming. And the way that she is smiling up at him as he's carrying her out of there, and the way he's looking down at her in complete like admiration, because he has the biggest crush on Danny, though she's unaware of it because she literally is just not paying close enough attention to this man. But yeah, it's literally a scene out of a rom-com, and it goes absolutely viral thanks to the students at the university. And to like further to further like and then like for and then the video goes even further online, because his niece, Zaf's niece Fatima, tags his nonprofit in the video. And that leads to folks being like, no, that's not just our security guard at university. That's like a former professional rugby player. They immediately start looking into the nonprofit that he started, and getting a feel of like what he's been up to in the years since he used to play. But yeah, this video of them going viral then leads to this being a really good opportunity for Zaf's nonprofit to get some attention and to fundraise off of the attention. And this leads to our like classic fake dating trope of Zaf being like, Danica, Danny, like us together is really good for my nonprofit. And I also like being around you. So could you possibly pretend to be my girlfriend? And we like take some videos, pictures, and go places where folks can see us together. And she's like, yeah, of course, I could be your fake girlfriend. And they enter into a fake relationship. And they start off just like by being friendly, like they're talking late at night, they're meeting up for lunch when they're both on campus, and overall, like it's going well enough. And one of the news outlets that saw like the initial video go viral, like reaches out to Zaf and they're like, hey, can you do an interview with us? And something to know is that like Zaf has social anxiety. So he's nervous at the idea of going on this like radio station and like doing an interview with them. And Danny offers to go with him. And she's like, okay, yeah, for sure. More than happy to go with you. And then the only addition that's now added onto this is that Danny's like, well, if I go, you're coming back to my apartment afterwards and you're going to spend the night. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure. Well, no, not spend the night. He's going to come over to her apartment because she has rules around fuck buddies and what they're allowed to do and what they cannot do.
Okay, question. So
Yeah.
in the book that I almost finished, they
Hmm.
have lots of money. So she has a not nice apartment, but everything in there is everything that she would ever want and need because of the
Hmm.
family money. Is her
Yeah.
apartment like this?
Yes, there's family money. So there's money from like the parents that's like in trust, but also like I think there's money from grandma. Like,
Grandma
yeah,
carries herself rich.
yeah, like they are upper middle class, real comfortable. So like, yeah, her apartment, it's not like modern luxury.
I think higher than upper middle because
Yeah, if you have a
upper middle is
trust,
there. Yeah.
yeah, if you have a trust, you're just upper class.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, she is comfortable. Like she's a PhD student living in like a one bedroom, pretty large apartment in like London, like
Yeah. Bet you
easily.
she's in zone one.
What probably zone one or
We're
two,
three
whatever's
living in like Chiswick.
potentially that could be
Oh,
it. Her
I love
apartment is
Chiswick.
described. I know. I know. I'm like, if and when I move there, I was like, how do I live in Chiswick or how do I live in Ealing? And to any future stalkers, I won't be living there when I'm living there, but I would want to
Nah,
live there.
goals. I would sleep on your couch.
Uh, if I'm in Chiswick or
I love
Ealing.
Chiswick. Okay. So he's gonna spend the night. No, he's gonna hang out with her.
Yeah, so he's going to hang out with her after the interview. And going back to the actual interview, it goes really well because one, he has a panic attack as they're about to enter, and she's able to like support and like calm him down while um they're outside of the studio because he's worried that like this is gonna like they're going to potentially like ask him questions about his father and his brother who passed away right as his career ended because his career in rugby ended because of their death. They passed away in a car accident, and the media attention that he got from that was absolutely terrible. And yeah, so she's a support to him in that time period. And they are able to go inside and complete the interview. But the most interesting thing about the interview is that he's able to answer all of the questions about her correctly. And so is she. So that just like further confirms that, like, no, they're not coworkers or just colleagues. Like they really are something more than that. Cause like he knows she only drinks green tea and like salt and vinegar chips, which come on, those are all the best things in the world. Green tea and salt and vinegar chips. Or no, I'm sorry, salt and vinegar crisp.
I love a crisp.
Yeah, it's crisp.
You know how many times I've ordered from Marks and Spencer to deliver,
You should
but they
stop
don't
doing that.
deliver here, so I have to do it on BritishDepot.com or something. Not an ad, but I would love to be sponsored by them. So British Depot, you can order all the Maltesers and the crunchies, and oh God. Okay, I'm sorry.
Stop wasting your money on those things.
I'm not
Okay,
wasting. I'm investing in my happiness.
if you say so. But yeah, they complete the interview and they head back to Danny's, and she like sets these ground rules of like no cuddling, nothing romantic, no staying the night, and just truly like nothing reminiscent of a relationship. And he agrees to it, knowing full well that once he has sex with her, he's going to be in love with her even more than he already is. Well, I guess he's not in love with her currently. He just really, really likes her, but he knows that his feelings for her will grow and then likely to love once they do sleep together. And yeah, he agrees ultimately. And they begin hooking up and they continue hooking up for several weeks. And ultimately, like things are going really well between the two of them up until the point that they start to have like deeper conversations around past relationships and like why like Danny is so anti-relationship and why she only wants hookup buddies. And she like tells him about how like an undergrad, this person named I think their name was like Mateo. She caught him hooking up with someone else in their home, and he blamed her for the affair, which is so fucked up. But following that, she was just like, I'm never gonna put romance first because, like, look what happened when I did. I tried to surprise Mateo at home, and I came home to him cheating on me. So Saf's like, I hear you, but like, romance is easy when like the person that you're in love with is easy to love. And he's basically like, you're easy to love. And her hearing him say that, she absolutely freaks out. And they end. She's like, what we've been doing, being fuck buddies, is like a mistake, and this isn't gonna work. And they've tried, so let's just move on. And this absolutely breaks Saf. This absolutely breaks Dani, and they go their separate ways.
Oh.
And yeah, but ultimately, like Dani's sisters and her best friend talk to her, and they're like, "Girl, you love him. You're upset, you're crying, you clearly have really deep feelings for him." And she's able to rectify her thoughts and feelings around him and realize that, like he is it for me. Like I have to apologize. And she does this big grand gesture that she's able to accomplish with the help of Saf's friend Jamal, and they like get him down to the rugby field and cover it in red and white carnations, which is like flowers for love, which I did not know until reading this. And she apologizes and he apologizes, and they agree to like take baby steps and work towards um, a relationship. And yeah. And also, I think she found out what carnations meant because she read a ton of romance books that he read. And biggest thing about Zaf is that he is a true romantic. Like he's reading romance books, he's listening to romance books.
I
She
love that
catches
for him.
him. Yeah, she catches him listening to a romance book, and she's like, "Are you listening to porn at the beginning of the book?" Because of like wherever he had left off
It
in the
was
scene.
spicy.
Yeah, it was a steamy scene. And yeah, she caught him listening to it there. But yeah, they're able to come together and like move towards a relationship. And this book ends off with an epilogue, which is great. Because again, y'all, I love an epilogue. They've been together for about a year, and they've recently moved in with one another like about 6 months ago, when the epilogue begins. And they are like still working at their relationship. They're trying to communicate. Dani's trying to keep in touch with her feelings. And on this specific day in the epilogue, it's actually their anniversary, and she has an anniversary gift for him that she surprises him with. And it's all of his favorite romance books signed by the authors.
I would love that.
Yeah, yeah. Such a wholesome, like great gift. And yeah, she gives them to him, and he's a romance lover. So he's just absolutely like ecstatic about like her doing that. And like it also took her months to do it in the hope of her family to get all of the books autographed. And yeah, that's their happily ever after. Like she's working on herself, he's working on himself, and they're communicating to the best of their ability and thriving within their relationship. And that's the HEA that I
No,
wanted to
that's a
share.
cute book.
Highly recommend it. I hope you like the change in episode structure with us diving into two separate books. And I guess before we close out, what are you reading this week, Julie?
All I do is read. I don't have a job. I do have a job. Right now, I'm not done with it. Normally, when I do these, I'm like almost done, or no, I'm done with the book. But this one, I've been reading. Let me check my Goodreads and see where am I in it. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, currently I'm reading Richter Scale by Dahlia Davies. It's the Shadow Zone series. It's it's
Hmm.
about a alien species that has come to Earth because all of their females have been um, killed, and their race, their species is going to go extinct because they can't procreate.
Okay.
And they have figured out that their DNA works well with our human DNA. So
Lovely.
they have made an agreement with the world to take women who volunteer to move to the planet. It's like Asa. No, it's like Iasa. I don't know. To move to this planet to be with these men, and the women sign lifelong contracts. And the book reminds me of those insane people who protest outside of Planned Parenthood.
Mhm.
Because when this girl goes to get on the ship, there are protesters there saying, "Don't do it. The lizard men will just kidnap you and breed you. Don't go." And she's like, "I've made my decision and I'm happy
Yep.
with it. I'm
Yep.
gonna keep on walking."
Yeah.
So she goes
Respect.
to the planet and she gets paired with a mate. Her name is Laurel, and she gets mated with a guy named, I don't remember, it's like Miktar or something. And there was actually a mistake. Lauren was supposed to be with this guy, and she was with a guy named Victor. But they mixed up and they got mated and they got bonded, and they've actually bonded and they've become intimate. And they're like, "This is it, we're together." So we learn that she has a handler. So I think someone on Earth sent her there to
Mhm.
infiltrate and figure out some things about this alien species that she can then, relay back to Earth. But I don't know what she's going to do because now she's fully in love with this man and she wants to be with him forever. But
Yeah.
she also has this big secret that she did not go there with the purest of intentions. So, Richter Scale by Dahlia Davies.
Cute.
What are you reading?
I am reading this week Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez.
I have it in my Libby. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I saw folks posting about it and I was like, I need to read this. This book is about a woman named Vanessa who quit her job to become an influencer. She is a YouTuber who posts videos of herself traveling across the globe, up until one day suddenly she returns home, as her younger sister has given birth to a baby and she now has custody of her niece. And so far this book has been about her like taking care of her niece and also interacting with her neighbor Adrian, who's a lawyer and really hot, and shows up on her doorstep one day, not even one day, one morning, and by morning like 2, 3 a.m., saying, "Hey, your baby's keeping me up."
Oh,
Also, when
whoops.
did you even have a baby? Because I have not seen you pregnant. And he basically is this little baby whisperer. He says, you're clearly struggling. Let me hold the baby. You go take a shower, get ready for bed, even though it'd be like, get ready for the day because it's early morning now. But he gets her little niece to sleep. And yeah, this book so far has been really cute. And I'm excited to see what's next, in regards to like what potentially can happen between her and her neighbor Adrian, and also what is going on with her sister. Because I don't know if she's gonna like always have this baby, her niece, and like what's going to happen there. But really intrigued to see what's next, with Vanessa and Adrian and the little baby.
Awesome. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us this week.
Yeah, it's been really great hearing about your reads, Julie. Always, always interesting.
Just a reminder, mine was Take Me Apart by Brea Alepoú and Skyler Snow.
And the book that I was chatting about, was Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. Yeah, very, very cute book.
Mine was steamy. I wouldn't say cute, but it was
Oh,
hot.
okay. Mine was cute, but also steamy. It did have like a good balance, but also it was like swoon because a guy that reads romance.
Mine was fire. Every chapter, fire, fire,
Yeah,
fire.
yours was fire. I don't think it's actually steamy based on your
No, it's hot.
recounting.
So hot.
The bar was like far in hell.
I'm gonna go read the fourth book right now. So I'm gonna sign off now. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool, yeah. Go eat din din.